Here.
Fast.
Here.
Richardson.
Here.
Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I believe Pastor Wenger is going to lead us in prayer today.
I invite you to pray with me. Gracious God, as we pause at the beginning of this new day and at the beginning of this meeting, we tune our hearts and our minds to gratitude to you. New every morning is your love and grace. We give you thanks for the beauty of this earth, for the beauty of relationships, for the opportunity to work together for good in our community. So we give to you our work today, including the work of this city council. Thank you for the dedication and service of each member. Strengthen them in their shared work for the common good. And may all of our hearts and minds be open to how your Spirit is moving us toward healing and hope for all. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Next item, please.
Item 4, proclamations.
All right. Mr. Kane, join me up at the podium, please. Whereas the City of Hutchinson is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living and visiting Hutchinson, and whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire, and whereas according to the NFPA, local fire departments responded to 1.3 million fires in 2021, from which there were 3,800 civilian deaths, 14,700 civilian injuries, and $15.9 billion in property damage. And whereas fire departments in the United States respond to a home fire at a rate of 1 every 93 seconds, and when the smoke alarm sounds, Hutchinson residents may have less than 2 minutes to escape to safety. And residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. And whereas residents should make a home escape plan, drawing a map of each level of the home, showing all doors and windows, and should practice the home fire escape plan with everyone in the household at least twice a year, during day and night, and residents should get out and stay out, never going back inside the home for people, pets, or things. And whereas our residents are responsive to public education measures and are able to take action to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes, and whereas the 2023 Fire Prevention Week theme, Cooking Safety Starts With You, effectively serves to remind us that we need to take personal steps to increase our safety from fire. Now, therefore, I, John Richardson, Mayor of the City of Hutchinson, Kansas, do hereby proclaim October 8th through 14th, 2023 as Fire Prevention Week, and I urge all of the people of Hutchinson to be aware of their surroundings, look for available ways out in the event of a fire or other emergency, respond when the smoke alarm sounds by exiting the building immediately, and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of the Hutchinson Fire Department during Fire Prevention Week 2023. Do you gentlemen have a few things to say? Sure. All right.
Mayor, thank you. Council, appreciate the opportunity to come before you, talk about Fire Prevention Week. So for Inspector Dowling and myself, fire prevention is, of course, a year-round endeavor for us, but this is the one week that we really get to get out in front of everybody, especially the schools next week. We'll be in every school, so when the kids start coming home and saying the firemen were there and this is what they told us, take that to heart, because we try and get that through to them at a young age. As this year, as the proclamation said, this year's theme is cooking safety starts with you. Kitchen and cooking fires still are the leading cause of home fires throughout the nation, and a majority of those are just unattended cooking. Everybody's busy, especially with the kids, and that's what we'll hammer next week with the kids. You're trying to cook, kids are in, wanting your attention, you leave, and the next thing you know, you have a kitchen fire. So that, along with the smoke alarms, testing those every month, changing the batteries twice a year, and what to do when the alarm sounds, get out and stay out. So thank you again for the proclamation. Appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item 4B, proclamation for National Disability Employment Awareness Month.
Are you Mr. Frischmeyer? I was hoping I said that correctly.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Yes. Whereas October 2023 marks the 78th anniversary of National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and whereas the purpose of National Disability Employment Awareness Month is to educate about disability employment issues and celebrate the many and varied contributions of America's workers with disabilities, and whereas the history of National Disability Employment Awareness Month traces back to 1945, when Congress enacted a law declaring the first week in October each year National Employee the Physically Handicapped Week. And in 1962, the word physically was removed to acknowledge the employment needs and contributions of individuals with all types of disabilities. And whereas in 1988, Congress expanded the week to a month and changed the name to National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and workplaces welcoming all of the talents of all the people, including people with disabilities, are a critical part of our efforts to build an inclusive community and strong economy. And whereas activities during this month will reinforce the value and talent people with disabilities add to our workplaces and communities, and affirm Hutchinson's commitment to an inclusive community that increases access and opportunities to all, including individuals with disabilities. Now therefore I, John Richardson, Mayor of the City of Hutchinson, Kansas, do hereby recognize and commemorate the 78th anniversary of National Disability Employment Awareness Month in the City of Hutchinson, and call upon employers, schools, and other community organizations in Hutchinson to observe October with appropriate programs and activities to advance its important message that people with disabilities add value and talent to our workplaces and communities, and that the City of Hutchinson pledge to continue to take steps throughout the year to recruit, hire, retain, and advance individuals with disabilities, and work to pursue the goals of opportunity, full participation, economic self-sufficiency, and independent living for people with disabilities. Would you like to say a few things?
Thank you.
All right, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, first off, thank you. So in October, we have at our Independent Living Center what's called the Disability Mentoring Day, where we take youth with disabilities, let them job shadow in our community, showing them that they can and they should work. We just celebrated an anniversary for the Rehabilitation Act. This giving us more rights to employment, more rights to our accommodations that make it where we can do our jobs correctly. By hiring people with disabilities, you're not only building our community, you're helping progress the movement of hiring people with disabilities and making it more acceptable to see people with disabilities in our community. You know, we still got a long way to go. We still got people in sheltered workshops getting paid less than minimum wage. We are working to stop that, but the more people we hire, the less go into these sheltered workshops. I just want to thank the city for, you know, the proclamation, the work you guys do, and you know, if you're an employer, hire those people with disabilities, provide those accommodations. They may be your best employee.
Thank you very much. Next item.
Item 4C, a proclamation for Cybersecurity Month.
We're going to bring our very own Todd Davis up here. All right, I know you. Whereas in an ever-connected digital age, cybersecurity stands as a cornerstone to protect the personal data of our citizens and the intellectual assets of our businesses, and the vital services rendered by our public entities. And whereas the City of Hutchinson acknowledges the collective effort of the entire IT department working diligently behind the scenes to ensure our digital infrastructure remains robust and resistant to threats. And whereas our city staff, through their unwavering commitment, continuous learning, and collaborative spirit, plays an instrumental role in establishing a resilient cyber environment for the Hutchinson community. And whereas Cybersecurity Month serves as a prime moment to emphasize the importance of cybersecurity, advocate for prudent online behaviors, and salute those who daily champion our digital safety. Now, therefore, I, John Richardson, Mayor of the City of Hutchinson, Kansas, do hereby declare October 2023 as Cybersecurity Month in Hutchinson, and I encourage all residents, businesses, and institutions to recognize the significance of cybersecurity, adhere to online best practices, and extend their appreciation to our remarkable city staff and the dedicated IT team for their ceaseless efforts in guarding our digital frontier. You have a few words to say on that?
Thank you. Yes. I'm Todd Davis, Director of IT. I wanted to speak for just a minute about cybersecurity. So what I did was I went to an AI, and I asked it this question. The question was, what are the top 5 cybersecurity threats as of 2021? It's phishing attacks, which means that through emails, people are trying to get to your stuff. Ransomware, which is when they finally get through your defenses, then they try to steal your systems or make you pay money to get your stuff back. Zero-day exploits, which are new problems which have been found by bad guys, and they exploit those to get us. IoT vulnerabilities. IoT is like water and sewer and your Amazon Echo and your lights and your Ring doorbell and all those kinds of things. We watch. That's the 4th major vulnerability. And supply chain attacks, which means that even though we're safe, we've got to make sure that everybody that we deal with is safe. So not only do we have to deal with staff and citizens and vendors and governments and a whole bunch of other people which are out of our control. So it's really important that we review cybersecurity, that we keep it upmost in our minds. And one of the things that the City of Hutchinson is doing this year is we're going to be doing training for our employees. So I'll have a bunch of little training classes to make sure that everybody's on board with cybersecurity. I attended a cybersecurity conference where they had a white hat hacker in, and he showed us the thread of how they hack to get into systems. He said he's right at 99% of being able to get into any system, and generally the way they get in, 80% of the time it's human engineering. And and we're talking like Department of Defense and NSA and some of the big boys he's broke into. So it's inevitable that we will be attacked. If you looked at our firewall, we get hit with over 70,000 attacks a day. So it's really difficult out there, and we don't have a big security staff. As a matter of fact, we don't have any people in security right now, so we're just doing that as part of our daily duties. So it's really important for us to stay on top of cybersecurity, and all of you are part of that because all of you are part of the city. All of you are in city systems, so make sure you don't click on anything that you aren't absolutely sure is the right thing to click on, okay? I don't see any nods.
Yes.
Oh, they're all asleep. You see this? I bored them to death. Anyway, so thank you for the proclamation, Mayor.
Be careful what emails I click on.
Yeah, don't click on that.
Let me give you this.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item 5, oral communications from the audience.
All right, this is the section of the meeting we open the podium up for items not on the agenda for people to make public comment on. Please limit your remarks to 5 minutes and state your name and address if you have something to say.
My name's Gary Steben. I don't want to give you my address.
That's fine.
Hutchinson
resident.
Hutchinson resident.
Thank you.
What this is about, a few weeks ago I was down here. I have a problem with a neighbor. It's been going on for 18 months. This person decides he wants to have a party every weekend, almost. It started at 2 in the morning. As a neighborhood, we've been trying to do something about it for 18 months. And I think as a citizen of the city, it shouldn't take 18 months to get something like this solved. The police have come out, they've tried. I brought it forward at that meeting that I wanted a little help from the city council, and maybe we could come up with something. Since then, he is supposed to move, but I can tell you for 8 weeks he's had 16 parties or more on the weekend. He doesn't care. The police are working with me, but I think I brought this up to the city council that I think we need to have a task force or something that we can have so this doesn't happen to other people. And I know it does happen to other people, but it just shouldn't last this long. And so that's why I came back up to get some more suggestions and see what we can do, because he's not going to quit and he don't care. And his landlord finally said, you know, enough's enough, so he's got to move. But since that, I've had 8 weeks of we don't get no sleep, or my neighbors. So that's why I'm here. That's why I don't want to give names or.
No, that's fair. One of the things that we were pondering on was the possibility of getting with the Landlords Association and getting some feedback on what would be appropriate measures in regards to how much teeth should be put into something. What is currently there? How is it enforced so everyone's educated first?
Right.
And then if things need to be changed or if it just needs to be handled differently. I would think they would have some suggestions, and from their suggestions we might be able to put something on paper.
Well, and that's great. You know, that's what I came the first time, and that's why I'm back. I just wanted to, you know, give you guys a chance to kind of talk about it, think about it, because I can't say too much. The police have come out; they've been really good about it, you know. But evidently, there's not enough teeth or something to help, because this should have never went on this long. And I know I've talked to other people and they've had the same problem. It just doesn't last as long as this has. You know, they'll have somebody move in and have parties for a few weeks. They either quit or they do something, but this man doesn't care.
So typically someone calls the police, they come out, and things settle down after the police show up, but then it might fire back up again later.
Yeah, when they're gone, then. But there's so many people that show up. So it's not always his noise, it's their noise. They'll come in with their stereos blasting because they're, you know, they're driving. Well, when they shut it off, they don't turn it down. So then when they leave, of course, it's blaring again till they leave. Or you have a bunch of people out in the front yard or the backyard that are yelling, not to be mean, but, hey, Jay, what you doing? Hey, what's happening? I'm sure glad you're here. Blah, blah, blah. And, well, in the dead of silence at 2 in the morning to 4 in the morning or 6, it just echoes.
It's usually when the dogs start barking too.
Well, I'm just saying. Well, you can't always control the dogs, and you can't always control. These people aren't bad. They're just wanting to have a party, and they left a party, and they want to just make it go longer. So, you know, they're just, and most of them are pretty young.
Right.
I'm not blaming. I'm just saying that's just the way it is. I kind of remember way back I used to kind of enjoy some parties too, but not like this. Not every weekend. Not 2 days.
Can we ask the Landlords Association to weigh in on how this currently works and what might change?
You can.
They don't have to, no. But they would be one of the entities more likely to be involved in a situation like this on a regular basis if tenants are disruptive.
And they do some of that. They do share names as an organization. They meet once a month, I believe, and they share names of unruly tenants, you know, who to watch out for, and they share best practices of what to include in leases. That's just my basic understanding of their organization. I think that they would, you know, because they have properties to protect, they have income to protect. I think everybody considers being a landlord, you know, those are investments, and having a bad tenant, whether they're ruining the neighborhood or ruining the home, is a concern. So I think that they definitely have an interest in this. They're probably, some of them at least, watching right now. I would be surprised if we don't get an email. But I think we'd be more than happy to reach out to that organization for you and kind of see what their best practices are. What do they do right now? We can't tell them what to do, but we can ask them.
Yeah, well, and another thing, and there you go, how far do you go, where do you stop, you know? I'm not trying to pursue this man, I just know that if he moves, hopefully he'll be out on the edge of town or something, but he doesn't care, so he's gonna keep doing it, I know he will. But also, you gotta remember also, we're talking landlords, what about people that own their own houses? That happens too.
Correct.
And well, there you go. Now, how far do you go? So all I'm trying to do is get something that we can all live with that's halfway fair, because you can have spiteful neighbors. You can have spiteful neighbors that don't matter what you do, they're going to call over the littlest things because they hate your guts so much that they're going to do it. And that's why I'm coming forward again, trying to get something we can all live with, you know, something reasonable. And so that's why I'm here.
I got a question. We make our downtown Southwest break, and when we have parties in the downtown, we make them quit at 11 o'clock. They got something. I don't understand when we make them quit at 11 o'clock and we can't do something for you. It's got me mixed up. I sit here listening to you all this time, and the downtown, they got to fill out a form. I don't know, maybe we may make this guy fill out a form that he's going to have a party on Saturday, so you can, and he has to quit at 11. I don't know.
I don't know either. All I know is that after the bar or wherever he goes, he invites, come on, let's keep it going. Let's go to my house, is what I'm saying. So I don't understand it either.
Something for the industry, for the people that do, they have to quit at 11.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and that's why I'm bringing it up, is to get, you know, this feedback and whatever we can do. Like I said, it's not just me a vendetta as much as, but he has. If you haven't realized how much sleep you lose on weekends, almost every weekend. I mean, I started this thing in September, so we're talking 104 weekend or 104 days, 52 weeks. He's had over 80 some parties. Nobody should have to put up with that. And they all start at 2 in the morning. And the police have been out, so I'm not griping at the police. Maybe they need more teeth. I don't know. But that's why I'm here. I just want you guys' help. I appreciate it. And, you know, so this doesn't happen to somebody else is what I'm mainly here for.
All right.
If you're done with me, I'll...
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
Anyone else?
Good morning. My name is Rosa Fast, and my husband Larry and I live at 407 East 6th here in Hutchinson. And it is the Grace Arbor neighborhood, which is the area between 4th and 11th, Main, and Plum. That area is the Grace Arbor neighborhood. And we're here to invite you to our block party that we're having next Saturday, October the 14th, in front of the Salvation Army building. And we've been in discussion for quite some time now we're proposing a neighborhood park in that vacant lot. And Major James of the Salvation Army can tell you a little bit more about it. He's got some paperwork there. And Kenny Hepner, one of our neighbors, will hand out your invitations here. But we're hoping you can come. We're just gonna have food, inflatables for the kids, and yard games, music, and we'll be done by 11 o'clock. But we're just wanting, the main purpose, of course, is to present the proposal of this neighborhood park. We want our residents to know that, you know, that's what we're striving for. We want them to have, kind of get their opinions, their suggestions as to what they would like to see happen in that park. And we're hoping that we get a big turnout, and you're all invited. And right now I want to introduce Chris Corey, who's our presenting sponsor. And then we have Adam Stewart from the Hutch Recreation Commission, Adam Pena, who's one of our residents too in the neighborhood, Kenny Hepner, who's also a neighborhood, and my husband, Larry. So you're all invited. We hope to see you there.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all very much. Come on down. Done by 11. You got that, right?
Rosa, I have a question for you.
Sure.
I love this. First of all, what is your timeline on when are you guys wanting to like break ground? What's your kind of
He
big
could
plan for this?
So I think the Salvation Army had an architect develop that 2-3 years ago. I think the Salvation Army's legal department in the city has been trying to, or the Parks Department in the city has been trying to work out a lease agreement that would work out. I think I spoke to Paul Brown last week, and it's I think there's been a lot of turnover in just city government and whatnot, and so I think there's an issue as far as the money. What's a priority in just the infrastructure of the city, and when can this happen? And then the Salvation Army requires a commitment of having it done in 5 years, or some legal language in there just to protect the Salvation Army instead of the city. We sign it over to the city, and then nothing happens for 20 years, even though the Salvation Army's had it for 20 years, and nothing's happened for 20 years, just because of the financial piece of that. So that's kind of where we're at. But we're hoping to get some traction as far as maybe interest from outside people that might want to put money into it, and then kind of help expedite that overall. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the sooner the better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chris, did you have anything to say?
Well, I guess I did have something to say. But anyhow, so yeah, when Rosa brought this up to my attention, they were wanting to do this. Not only is my business in that neighborhood right there in Midtown, but it's just a great opportunity. And any opportunity we have in this community to instill some togetherness, some pride in our neighborhoods, I'm all for that. And I think we all are all for that. So we need to support this event. No matter what neighborhood you're in, come out, support this event, and just, hang out with one another, get to know one another. And again, pride and togetherness in that neighborhood and all our neighborhoods, because a strong neighborhood creates a strong community. Okay, so October 14th, right?
Right, and I forgot to mention, we'll have signs posted throughout the neighborhood, but it's from 4 to 7, Saturday, October the 14th, and at 7th and Walnut. And you're all invited also.
Yep, everybody's invited. So please tell your friends, come on down and support that neighborhood, and of course support your community by doing so. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Good morning, City Council. My name is Adam Stewart. I'm the Neighborhood Development Coordinator at Hutch Rec. And I just wanted to come this morning and say thank you to the city for all of the support you gave for the Southwest Bricktown Fiesta on September 23rd. The Parks Department did a great job getting the park ready. I heard a lot of compliments about what a nice park that is. The Street Department brought out the barricades so we could have the dance in the street. And thank you to council members Garza and Fast for their direct involvement. Couldn't have done it without them. So thank you all.
Thank you. Anyone else for open comment? All right. If not, we'll move on to the next item, please.
Item 6, consent agenda.
Do we have any questions about what's on the consent agenda or comments?
I have a comment. So item C is the approval of a license agreement with Selwyn Investments, Splinters and Rust for the use of the city sidewalks. And I would encourage all of our downtown business owners to do their part in beautifying their little chunk of real estate in front of their own business. I think it's a really unique thing that they've done and they plan to do. I know John's been put to work literally building a little free library and whatnot. But I think it's awesome. I think it really shows the community that the companies down there are invested in their little piece of real estate and that they plan to stay. And I would encourage more people to do it. Send them our way, and we'll probably approve them.
I'm sure the owner of Splinters and Rust appreciates that.
Probably.
So does her husband. Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? If not, we will take a roll on approving.
Do you need a motion?
I mean, I need a motion. I'm out of it.
And is this for
To
Vice Mayor
approve the
to sign?
consent agenda.
Yes.
I move to
Okay.
approve the consent
I'll
agenda.
let you do it.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Please call roll.
Garza.
Yes.
Conklin.
Yes.
Goss.
Yes.
Fast.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes. Next item, please.
Item 7A, consider agreement with Interfaith Housing for Down Payment Assistance Program.
Good morning, Council. Jim Seitnader, Interim Planning and Development Director. Very happy to be here this morning. Kelly Ann Lanham, who's the chairperson of our Housing Commission, is here, along with two members from Interfaith Housing, Clint Nelson and Diane Crabtree, and they're going to come up and kind of tell you a little bit more about the program and its effect. But we're here to ask you to approve an agreement between the city and Interfaith Housing Services for the down payment match assistant programs. The Housing Commission gets money each year from the general fund for 4 programs that they administer, and this is one of the 4. It's a great program, and it's attached to the featured neighborhood program, so there's a good collaboration between the featured neighborhood efforts and this particular program. The monies are to those that have graduated through the first-time homebuyers program that Interfaith puts on. So we think it's a very, very solid program, and there's been over 25 properties since 2017. So it's been very well used, in my opinion. And those are houses in established core neighborhoods, and very much what Chris was saying, that kind of togetherness and that kind of improvement in neighborhoods really helps this fight that we have to make our housing better in Hutchinson. So I would invite Clint and Diane to come up and tell you just a little bit more about the program.
Good morning, Mayor Richardson and council members. Clint Nelson, CEO, Interfaith Housing. Just to follow up on what Jim was sharing, we're here in support of the updated operating agreement for the down payment incentive program. We partnered with the city since, I believe, 2017-18. And as Jim mentioned, we've had 25 participants, first-time home buyers in our priority neighborhoods. As we look to not only renew this agreement, but update it, we have recognized some trends over the last couple of years. Participation was certainly down last year, and Diane, our manager of the program, has came up with some little tweaks, I think, that'll make it attractive again. Will make it much cleaner for the home buyer in the process of formulating an offer and getting under contract. I also want to mention, this would be a micro program as far as we're considered, much like Brush Up program. I think the Housing Commission, very forward thinking in pushing to allocate these funds and then release them to the administrators, in this case Interfaith Housing, to operate the program as we see fit. I think there's tremendous growth opportunity in some of these micro programs that have been around for years. We just need to fine tune them. We need to relaunch them. We need to fund them at the highest possible level. I think it's all progress for the community, and we certainly appreciate our partnership with the city. Would like Diane to speak a little bit about on some of the revisions that we're proposing in the new agreement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Diane Crabtree. I'm the Creating Assets, Savings, and Hope Manager at Interfaith Housing, and been working with this program for several years now. Some of the key things that we find very beneficial are keeping it within the core neighborhoods, the neighborhoods that are part of the neighborhood initiative that are south of 17th Avenue, and focus on those areas. I think that's been very successful. I think it's been very beneficial for those neighborhoods and the people moving there. Become a part of a community and can do a lot of community activities and be a part of that, and their families as well. The other thing is the homebuyer education piece. People receive it very well. They get to do the online course at their pace, something they can log in and out of, and then we do a counseling session. They do an assessment and a counseling session following that with me. So a couple of components that we really want to keep with the program. Some of the pushback I've gotten for the program through speaking with lenders and realtors are the retention agreement or the repayment agreement for 5 years. That tends to kind of scare people away maybe a little bit. Not that they're intending to move. A lot of people just don't want to lean on their home for that time. I do ask them to sign a confirmation that they are not planning to move, that it's their primary residence for at least 5 years. The other piece that is a little bit more difficult with the original was the 40-60 match. So they were to bring, it was a match where we would match 40% of the cash, or the cash to close, and the earnest money. And they would bring 60% or $2,500, whichever was less. And so that's a very complicated kind of calculation to do up front, because we don't have final numbers from the lender until we're much, much closer to closing. And so it kind of really became complicated. We couldn't give people an exact amount that they were getting, or even really a ballpark, until we got much, like within 10 days of closing. And one of the things I've found is people are requesting those award letters. Like, we want to know our customer is going to get, or the buyer is going to get that before we put in an offer, or before we approve. And so to provide that beforehand, we just can't do that. So that would really help with that. It would also give them a solid number on what they're getting. They just know they're getting $2,000, and that, goes a long way for them. So those are some of the things that we kind of wanted to pivot on. Also, with the interest rates going back up, we are just seeing a higher increase of the need for it. Even with the IDA program, last couple of years with interest rates as low as they were, some of them didn't even need the money as much. But now people are really needing that. They're needing to know how much they're getting, and we'd like to provide that to them, wrapped in the education and the other pieces of it. So yeah. Any questions?
I had several, but you've answered them. We
Okay.
did not receive a red line copy of this, and you've addressed all of my questions. And,
Okay.
and there's a whole lot of talk about incentivizing improvements to our town. This is one, and we need others that we're talking about. And thank you so much for your part in this.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I have a question. What was this funded at last year?
14.
Is that what it's always been?
There was only one participant last year, is that accurate?
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe so. Actually, there were 4 last year. It was in 2021 that it was really lean.
Okay.
It's been around 14,000, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got a question for you.
Mhm.
I'm trying to understand this. Now, you're gonna, first-time buyers, they come to you, and they have to, a 60-40 split on the money side of it, right? And once they get into the house and they get approved, and they come with their 60 and they pay their 40, correct? Then they have to stay in the house for 5 years. Am I right? Am I getting that right?
That was the original, yes.
Okay. Is it still the same now?
So now it would be, they just get $2,000.
Okay.
And we would not have the retention agreement. We would just have them sign an agreement that they plan to stay there. And honestly, I haven't spoken with anybody that would give an indication that they are not planning to make that their primary residence and being there for a while. They are normally invested.
Well, this is the first time I've heard this. I mean, that's great. I mean, but I have to understand it before I give it to my
Right.
tell other people about it. So they have to be. They can't ever had to buy a home before.
So they do not have to be first-time home buyers. They just can't currently own a home or land or like real estate, yeah.
So once they pick out a home, do you guys go look at it to see if it's worthy to invest the money of the 60 split, or how does that work? Once it-
No.
Okay.
No, we don't go inspect anything. I mean, if typically they're doing inspections on the home. Most buyers that I work with are doing inspections, something that we recommend through the counseling, that they do have the inspections, and a lot of the loan products do require the inspection. So I have had, not this program, but I've had another lender who has reached out to me and said, I don't believe that this home is something that we want to move forward with. So I can get feedback from the lender also if they have concerns about the condition of the home.
This has nothing to do with fixing up homes. This is to buy a home.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah,
That's
we've got
great.
families moving into these homes. Yeah.
Okay, and all they got to do is go get an application with you guys and get started, right?
We do the application, we do the counseling piece, or the education, the counseling, and we process the application, and then we also administer the funds.
Now, this is for the whole city. This is not no particular area, right?
It is for the core neighborhoods down like Creekside, Midtown, College Grove, Grace Arbor, the Founders, and Houston, Whiteside, and Southwest Bricktown.
And it includes, it says in here, any that become a part of the Hutchinson Healthy Neighborhood Initiative. I know they're working on adding one, so it would automatically be included
South
in
of
this.
17th,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how much is available? This will be available till you run out of money, right?
I'm sorry?
This will be available till you run out of the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
Yes.
So how much is it $200,000 in this, or what?
It's 14,000.
14,000.
14,000.
Right
Okay.
now, we have enough for 3 more this year, I believe.
Okay.
So,
But again, Steve, another program that has great growth opportunity.
Uh-huh.
I think it's important for these neighborhoods.
Oh, agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Totally agree.
we're really looking forward to marketing this, getting this back out there
Oh,
in front of
sure.
the lenders and the realtors and saying, hey, this is the new
Mhm.
program, this is new components of it, and looking forward to that piece of it. And I think that'll really move it as well.
Well, I don't want to sit here and say I understand it. Now I understand it. Okay? So now I can tell my people who come and ask me about this, I'll tell them about the program, now that I understand it a little bit more. Thank you so much.
absolutely.
Yes.
I have a question. At what point do individuals reach out to you guys, or do their real estate agents reach out to you? How does that first contact?
It can be, I have realtors, lenders, and individuals reach out to me. Oftentimes it's a referral from a lender or a realtor, and they'll contact me that way. So that's usually the first step, and we look at, what home I will often send out maps, like these are the maps that you can choose from, and so they're looking in those areas, and then, they'll choose the home and move forward from there, yeah.
And it might say in the document here, but you guys work with all loan types?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and they can be layered with other funds.
Okay.
In fact, we just had somebody use our IDA funds, somebody used, along with FHLB and the 2,000 from the city, and it made a huge difference, yeah.
I mentioned our statewide IDA, for those that don't know.
The IDA program is our match savings program, where individuals can save up to $3,000. We match with $6,000, and they can purchase their first home with that. So, yeah, it's a statewide program.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
I move to approve the operations agreement with Interfaith Housing and Community Services, Inc. for the down payment assistance program, and authorize the mayor to sign.
I'll second that. Go ahead.
We have a motion and a second. Please call roll.
Garza?
Yes.
Conklin?
Yes.
Goss?
Yes.
Fast?
Yes.
Richardson?
Yes. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda.
Item 8, report of city officials.
Mr. Garza, would you start us off, please?
Yes, sir, I sure will. First of all, I'd like to see you back, Mary Grace. Okay. And
I missed you too, Steve. I was gone too, you know that.
oh,
right?
I miss you
Yeah,
too.
I
Okay,
miss you.
glad to see you back. All right. We're gonna have a founders meeting in my area this coming tonight. So everybody, please come out. We should go to all the meetings so we all know what's going on. I know I'm guilty of that too. I need to go too. So please come out to the founders meeting tonight. It's at 5:30 at the Zone, and I will have another meeting. My community meeting I usually have will be on the 14th of October. There's a lot of stuff we got to cover, a lot of stuff been going on. At 9 o'clock at the Zone. 9 o'clock at the Zone on a Saturday. We have coffee and donuts, and we have good talks. And remember, the mayor goes, Miss Grace goes. There's a lot of people show up at those meetings. You ever never been to one of my meetings? It's great. We get into deep discussions, and it's more for us understanding the citizens. So the 14th of October, please come out to the Zone on Saturday. Let's see here. I write all the stuff down. Oh, the Bricktown. Had a great time. My leg was killing me. Didn't dance the way I wanted to dance, but that was okay. It was a great time. Come out to all these, just like the, I can't dang my memory. We need to go to every event in the city puts on, so we're one group. We're Hutchinsons. We're not Southends. We're not Northends. We're not West. We're East. We're Hutchonians. Back each other up. And with that, sir, that's all I have.
Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Fast?
Hutch Fest this weekend, downtown, Friday, Saturday, and part of Sunday, I believe. I also appreciate the participation in the Southwest Bricktown Fiesta and all the work that goes into that. It was a great time. I think it was probably the most attended one we had. Great way to honor the Hispanic community and the heritage there. I think that's all. Welcome back, Mary Grace. And John.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Mr. Conklin?
Nothing to add.
Ms. Goss?
Yeah, so I think it was Saturday. I attended the Kansas Elected Women to Lead conference. I can't remember what it stood for. But it was essentially, it was put on by the Kansas Association of School Boards. It was for women, and we had state reps, senators, school board members, city council members there. And it was really nice to hear from people around the state and know that they are all working on the same problems that we are working on, childcare, affordable housing, and they're making, and these are issues that impact all communities in rural Kansas. And we're not working on them in a silo. And I think it was just a great reminder that we have opportunities to network. And I know that we do, our child care task force specifically reaches out to a lot of different communities for feedback. I'd also like to welcome back Mary Grace and John. I missed the Bricktown Fiesta. It was my son's birthday party, so we couldn't fit one more thing in that day, but I am glad you guys had fun. I saw the pictures. It looked fun.
Yeah.
Looked
You should have
awesome.
told him the party was for him.
Oh, I should have done that.
That's what you should have done.
We had a great party with it too, though, so it was a lot of fun. Hutch Fest, we will be there all day Friday, all day Saturday. Anytime there's food trucks and stuff like that, we will be there. We did talk last meeting about the procedure for public comment, and I appreciate this, the kind of a change in the way of doing things. I think this is a much better process as we work to adopt this, to hear from people and clarify where in the agenda is appropriate for comment on certain topics. Another thing that I briefly talked about was moving to night meetings. Paul Brown sent over an email about it has been done in the past. Thank you for that, Paul. That was interesting to read. Not only the timeline of how the city has changed the meeting times to fit the current council, but also the conversations that were had between the council members at the time. I think it was 2018, 17? Okay. And I believe those are the exact same conversations that we have had about moving to night meetings. You know, does it encourage people to come? Is it convenient for our staff and for us serving? Is it more convenient for the public? Those are all the questions that I think we're all asking and having those conversations. And I think that it's still on the table. And I think that is it. That's all I had written down to talk about anyway.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I still want to have discussions on that too, but I'd like to wait till we get closer to the end of the year and start fresh and see how that goes. I had a couple calls from people who were able to pay their water bill over the phone and were unaware of it. And one person I talked to doesn't watch the news or read anything because they don't like to get bad news. And I said, I don't know how to get it out, and they don't open their water bill. So I don't know how to get it out there better than when you call in and they tell you you can't call in anymore. Can you give us a refresh? And that's all I really have, so I'll hand it over to you. Can you give us a refresher on why we got rid of the calling in?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We got rid of folks being able to call in to pay their water bill. Oh, go ahead, Angela.
And we'll pass it off to Angela.
All right. Could have done it.
Angela Richard, Director of Finance. It's a recommendation from our credit card company. It's just not as secure. If you're calling in, somebody could overhear you saying your number. Our phone calls are recorded, so we really can't take over the phone payments, or we would have to give that up. So it's a security issue, and it's more secure to do it on our automated phone payment system or our website.
So we still have an automated phone payment system option.
We do.
Okay.
Yes. We've had that for like 5 years. So it's not new. They can still do that, and they can do that any time of day. It saves their credit card information if you want it to. So when you call in again, you enter your account and customer number, and it asks if you want to pay with the same method you paid before. So it's more secure, and I think that once people get used to it, it'll be more convenient.
Okay, so they can call in the automated payment. You can do online payment. You can come in person, or you can use the U.S. Postal Service.
You can put it in our Dropbox
Or
too.
put it in the Dropbox. Okay.
And our website has both a login and pay. You can set it up to charge your card every month when it's due, or you can do a one-time payment online. You can set it up to bank draft. So we do have numerous ways to pay.
Okay. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Ms.
No,
Holmes.
you're fine. I think it's kind of the same question. So before what we were doing, I think my husband pays my water bill. I hope somebody's paying our water bill. So I'm not familiar with this process. But before, the option was you called and you spoke to a live person, you gave your credit or debit card over the phone.
Yes.
And the other option is you call an automated phone number that is not here, but it's going to a clearinghouse system. I would assume that you type in your number. Okay.
Yes.
So people can still call, it's just a different number.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and if you call our general number, the 694-2621, it gives you the option to pay, and it'll transfer you to
Okay.
that automated payment system.
Okay.
You do have to know your account and customer number. So we've been recommending that people like put it in their phone, take a picture of it, write it down somewhere that they can carry it, so it's convenient to pay your bill anytime.
Would it be possible if somebody doesn't have their phone number that they could call and speak to a live person here and get that customer number and the other number that they need?
Yes, and we've been
Okay.
doing that. When they call
Okay.
in, we tell them they can no longer pay over the phone for security reasons. You're going to need your account and customer number. You put in your account number, press pound, put in your customer number, press pound again. And we give them that number at that time and tell them to keep that, and then we will transfer them to the automated payment system. And all of September, when people called, August, when people called in, we were warning them that this would be the last time they could take that we could take a payment with a live representative over the phone. Next month, you'll have to pay other ways, and gave them a list of options.
We'll make the
So-
best effort we can to get the message. There's going to always be stragglers that don't get the message.
I
understand.
know. We have done our best. We've put it on like our reminder notifications when we send out robocalls or texts or emails. So we are trying. It's just hard to reach everybody. Yes.
I just want to point out that the complaints are to the process and not to your customer service. I don't think any of us have gotten complaints about the service that you guys are providing, so thank you for that. I think you guys are top notch.
Thank you. Any other questions?
The only thing is that I know I hate talking to machines. I'm one of the old timers. I want to talk to live people, but security problem. I understand that. So
This is a great time about Cybersecurity
It
Awareness
is.
Month.
Yes, it pairs great. It pairs nicely.
Yes, I understand that as well, but I do feel like we offer a wide variety of ways to pay. So I hope that everyone can find some method that works for them.
Well, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Glad I could help. I wanted to glad to be back, glad to be here finishing up and moving forward on a lot of good projects we have. A lot of work is getting done with road projects. Last night I had a great opportunity to go to our fire station where we dedicated our fire truck number 1. It was a great little ceremony. The community members showed up, and so we're very, very happy to have that new truck in fire station number 1 and in the property. So that was exciting. That was a lot of fun last night. And Hutch Fest, the weather looks like it's going to cooperate. The roads will be closed on Main Street, so be aware of that. And it's going to be a lot of events and something for everyone. So please come down there and enjoy great food, cars, Brewfest. There's lots of activities, something for everybody. So come down and enjoy the time around some other Hutch residents.
Can you tell us which streets are closed? Main Street from what to
It's
what?
B to 6th, I believe. No, 5th.
No, I believe it's from Avenue C
Oh, with
to
they
the
backed it down.
railroad tracks by the former Jillian's.
Yes, they backed
And
it
then
down.
there are a few of the side streets that are also barricaded.
Okay.
That's right. So the plan is, the hope is that year over year it's going to grow. So that was the original plan that they had proposed. So, and that's it.
All right. Well, thank you. Next item, executive session.
Yes.
All right. I would entertain a motion to recess. How long? You guys want to start with an hour?
3 hours.
Well, then we have to sit there
Do
for
we have
3
to
hours.
stay
to
that
get down to
whole
2.5.
time?
Okay.
Well, why don't we work a restroom time in it before we get started, and let's say we go till 11:15.
I move to recess into executive session pursuant to the personnel matters of non-elected personnel exception. Do I have to read that? In order to discuss city manager matters, the open meeting to resume in the city council chambers at 11:15 a.m.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call roll.
Garza?
yes.
Conklin?
Yes.
Goss?
Yes.
Fast?
Yes.
Richardson?
Yes.